presentations on presentation skills. I don't want to offshoot the time. Should we start? Paramji, when you will give me a cue, I will start. Madam, नहीं आई तुझे? आन के हूँ. निगाह रखा करो ना. Chalo, anyways. Well, friends, a very good afternoon to everybody. We are going to start the session on making an effective presentation. Dear friends, we have been talking for the past almost 3.5 days. Now today is the 4th day on various aspects of communication. And as teachers, we have to make presentations in the classroom. We have to make the presentations in the classroom, and how we can improve. I am saying that how we can improve. How can we make our presentations more effective? Making a presentation not only in the classroom. I would like to say that presentation is something which is required in every situation. Maybe if you are going to a marriage party, how you present yourself there. If you are going to a function, any function, how you present yourself there. If your students are going to appear for an interview, or you yourself are going to appear for an interview, besides the interview part, how do you present yourself? In any situation, we present ourselves, and I am going to focus on general aspects of our presentation. When we are conversing with somebody, when we are talking to somebody, we are presenting our point of view, how we make our point of view. And in the industries, when we go to the industries, there every day in and day out, the people have to make presentations. Whenever there is a new idea, the rest of the team, the person who has developed that idea, has to make a presentation to the rest of the team to convey to them, yes, this is my idea, and people then give their remarks, their suggestions, their opinions on that, and then the product or whatever the issue is, this is resolved. And even for the many times we have to make the presentations related to the progress, presentation related to the total report of the institute, for example, or department, or for example a project report. The students have to make the presentations about the project they have done. And I would say that as was being suggested by Dr. Punia ji on the first day, that our each and every laboratory experiment, if we encourage the students that after the experiment they can come for 5 minutes, each student, maybe a few of the students among the whole class, and make a presentation of what they have learned, what they have done, and what are their findings are. I mean, that will be giving them little bit of taste of making a presentation, which will be handy to them when they are going to go for the interviews, or when they are going to work in the industry. A presentation skill is one of the important skills and competencies which the industries are looking for in our students. So keeping that in view, I find that presentation skills are very, very important skills which each one of us, whether we are in a technical institute or whether we are in another institute, we have to make the presentations anyway. And how to make a presentation effective, that will be the endeavor of this session. Let me start the session. This is usually the classroom-like setting which we are having with us, making a presentation. The goal for every presenter is that everybody should applaud after the presentation is over. There should be smile on everybody's face, and they should be able to genuinely clap, and they should be with you. I am just saying one quote here. It says that a good orator can speak on anything, a great one on nothing. If you are a good presenter, your content does not matter really. You will be able to make a good presentations anyway. This is what the goal is. That every presentation, besides the content, is very, very important. Now, before I go to the main part of my presentations, let me share with you 4 quotes They are very, very important quotes related to the communication in journal and more to the presentation. But before that, let me just give you the outlines of my presentations here. I will be talking about preparing and practice about the presentation, tone and body language. I will be just touching it because my predecessors, the other speakers, have all talked about the tone and body language in journal, but related to the presentation skills, I will be talking a little bit more about that. And then perfect PowerPoint. How do we make the power? Nowadays we have the tools. We have the tools like PowerPoint or whiteboards and other thing. How to make, or the flip charts. How to make use of them effectively. Flip charts and the whiteboards. Dealing with the questions and interruptions. How you deal with the questions and interruptions during the presentation or after the presentation. We will talk about that. Then we'll be talking about facing nervousness and fears. Ma'am was telling in the previous session that we all feel nervous. It is okay to be feeling nervous. How to overcome the fear and how to look less nervous during your presentation. We'll be talking about that also. How to overcome that. Then where to go next. We'll talk about that also. A little bit about that. Then let me now start with the my presentation by this quote from a very, very famous English author, Mark Twain. He said, "It takes more than 3 weeks to prepare a good impromptu speech." Imagine a person like Mark Twain also emphasized the importance of preparing for the presentation. We should never go unprepared for a presentation. Mark Twain said, even if you are asked to, you are expected that, just have a guess that you may be asked to give a speech. Even in a spontaneous speech, like impromptu speech, you require 3 weeks of time for that. That's the importance of the preparation. Then G.B. Shaw, another George Bernard Shaw, another great author in English, he said, the biggest problem with the communication is the illusion that it has been accomplished. We always have an illusion that whatever I am saying, people are perceiving, people are understanding, people are able to comprehend in the same way, in the same spirit. This is an illusion. There will always be a communication gap. There will always be a communication gap. When I am talking to myself, what to talk about others, when I am talking to myself, and we do that very often in our silence, there is always a communication gap between me and I. There is always communication gap between me and I. And in communication, this gap is, our endeavor should be that this gap is minimized. Most of the problems in today's life are due to the communication gap. Communication gap between the families, between the friends, between the teacher and students, between the colleagues, between the nations. Our Prime Minister said something. Prime Minister, the Secretary to the Prime Minister in Pakistan, he has interpreted the thing in a very different way, and there is a war. So many bloodshed. Ultimately, again, we come to the table. After all the bloodshed, we come to the table to resolve the issues. Again, communication. Ultimately, after the war, we have to communicate. The endeavor should be that we never said like this. Our tone was not like this. That's what the G.B. Shaw has emphasized, that it is an illusion that we have been, and if we are not preparing very well, this gap will be increasing. If we are not preparing very well about our presentation, this gap is likely to increase. Whatever you want to say, what the other person is gathering from it. Another very important quotation is by W.B. Yeats. I always think a great speaker convinces us not by force of reasoning, but because he is visibly enjoying the beliefs he wants us to accept. I want to give you half a minute to just go through this quote and understand the essence of it. Towards the end of my presentations of this session, you will understand how important it is. Yeats has spelled it out in a very, very beautiful way. Just spend half a minute on this. Yes. Let me just elaborate little bit about it. What Yeats wanted to say is that if I am convinced, if I have a conviction, if I have a belief, and I really believe in what I'm saying, hopefully that gap which I was mentioning a few minutes before will be minimum. If I am myself in a disbelief, I am not having conviction, I am not convinced about what I am trying to say to you people, then how much forcefully I am able to say, whatever vocabulary, whatever body language I am going to use, this is all not going to yield the result. The only thing is I must enjoy. I must enjoy means I must be having good conviction about what I am saying. That will come, and that conviction, with that conviction, if you are able to tell to your students or to anybody whom you are making presentation, your message will be carried home. Otherwise, it is all wastage. Then the last quote which I am sharing here is better. It is again by Mark Twain. He said that better to keep your mouth shut and appear ignorant than open it and remove all doubts. Many times, the other day the speaker was talking about the silence, importance of silence in communication. It's so important. We want to say something, without having any understanding about those issues, maybe, or the knowledge and all. It's better to keep shut. In many situations, it is better to remain silent. Silent is very, very important in communication. Some other day, maybe we will be able to talk in details about the silence. Unless and until we do not learn and hone the art of silence, we can never be a good communicator. I can say this much with conviction. Whether it is a oral communication or a verbal communication or a non-verbal communication or written communication, silence is very important. So points to be noted from all the 4 quotes which we have studied up to now is, they are, all the 4 quotes, though I have elaborated a little bit, but then let us try to draw inferences from them. He said, for the impromptu speech, you require so much of time. So we gather that preparation and practice are important in presentation. We normally keep on postponing that मेरी presentation तो 2 महीने बाद है, 2 weeks के बाद है, मेरा ये lecture तो कल सुबह होने वाला है, why should I be worried? Normally I say in the classroom situations that we require 5 hours to 7 hours for 1 hour lecture. And with the passage of time, that lecture, if that lecture has to be repeated, the time can decrease, but no less than double time. No less than the double time. Even if, let us say, I have given this lecture 10 times, and my lecture duration is 1.5 hours, minimum 3 hours preparation is required to give the lecture. That's what it is. And if you are preparing in advance, you can keep on having ideas even while you are not preparing the presentation. And then you can keep on incorporating it. So do not keep on postponing it. Make the first draft. We'll be talking about that in details. Then the second thing which we have derived from the definition is good communication. There will always be communication gap. By your good communication skills, your verbal and non-verbal communication skills, you can reduce that gap. Then speak from conviction. If you are not convinced about yourself, your forceful words, your strong body language will not help to get the people move. Then be substantial. The last one was saying to keep shut. If you are ignorant about a subject, so be substantial. If you have no substance, do not beat about the bush so much. Try to be silent. So these are the 4 important points before I wanted to go in the main text of my presentations here, that be prepared and practice good communication, speak with conviction. If you are enjoying your contents, your participants, your listeners, your viewers, they will be also enjoying. Be substantial. Then now, what makes a good presentation? Divide into groups. Let us say if I have a presentation now for the teachers, now I have to make this presentation for some other group, or maybe from the group maybe of all the group member may from civil engineering. Then my presentation, my examples will be different. And if I'm having doctors, I have to address the doctors, then my presentations on the same very topic will be different. If I have to, let us say, talk to the people from the commerce background or from different backgrounds, divide the people into groups, and then this is one of the good idea. If you can divide the people in the group, or if the group is heterogeneous anyway, you have to address them, then you have to be very conscious about the group. In any communication, we have to understand whom we are communicating to, and more so in the presentation skills. What are the level of the students? What are their background? What are their interests? What are their needs? And all that. Then understand what makes a presentation good. We will in this session we'll be talking in details about what makes a presentation good. So we should have a deep understanding about that. Then something to think about. What are those things? Presenter, resources available to the presenter, and the structure of the presentation. We have to think about the presenter. We have to think about, if you are the presenter, then think about what are the strengths and weaknesses with you and how you're going to make it. And then the resources available to you and the structure. Normally, the presenter, in this picture you will see on the left hand side, top left hand side, the presenter. The resources could be the mic or a PowerPoint projection system, and the structure. How do you structure your presentation? Maybe you are adding certain graphs, certain figures, how do you going to structure the presentation? These three, if you are able to control, if you are able to look into this and understand and make the presentation, hopefully your presentations are going to be very, very effective. We will be talking in details about each one of them. Now, we have talked about this, the context of understanding in the first lecture itself when Dr. Punia was talking, and I make a reference of that in the listening skills, but I will be talking now in the context of presentation skills, this research work. As I said, we think at 500 to 600 words per minute, but we speak at 150 and 225 words per minute. Understand the gap. Grab and maintain the attention so that mind doesn't wander. As a presenter, you must know that I have a limitation of supplying the words to people. There is a gap, and during that gap, if I understand the techniques, how to still maintain the attention of the people, attention of the mind of the listeners, my presentations are going to be effective. Normal attention span time is 17 to 20 seconds. Let us be aware of these facts. After 17 to 20 seconds, your mind will go here and there. However good speaker you may be, however good listener you may be. After every 17 to 20 seconds, your mind will go here and there. Have a deep understanding of this, and you must be able to get that attention back after every few seconds. Do something, add some stimuli, some example, something which can stimulate the students, and they can come back. Now, the first 7 seconds of your presentation, first 7 seconds. 7 seconds is the average length of time you have to make the first impression. When you go to the classroom, or anybody is making any presentation anywhere, maybe in the industry, maybe anywhere, you have 7 seconds. Your first 7 seconds are the most important aspect, they say. It is not exactly 7 seconds, but on an average, the research was made by the people expert in the area of presentation skills. They said that the first about 5 to 10 seconds, your first impression is made. And the rest of the time, the viewers, the listeners will be attending to you based on the impression they have made based on your first 7 seconds. So your first entry, your first few remarks, your first few things are very, very important. If your first impression is not good, you won't get another chance. Maybe you are able to overcome that, but normally it has been seen that people are, off mind. They say, "Humne kya lena dena? He's not going to talk something which is relevant to me. He's sabko pehle se pata hai." Something. If the people are sometimes if they have switched off their minds, it's very, very difficult to bring them back. And it is also said that it takes 5 positive encounters to cancel out 1 negative encounter. In the beginning, if you have made 1 negative thing, you require 5 times effort to make it positive. Be aware of these things. Now, starting the presentation, we introduce wherever possible. Normally, we feel that no, I don't require any introduction. It's always a good idea that people who are going to listen to you, they know a little bit about you, and let somebody else introduce it to you. You see in the sessions, right from the first day, I have introduced my own director, Dr. Punia. Then there were speakers, Dr. Sunil Dutt, my own colleague. When I asked him to give me your latest resume for the introduction, he said, "Okay, Mr. Singla, we don't require any introduction. We are working in the same institute." I insisted upon that, and it really matters in the presentation. Then we had Madam Sudhiti Jindal, Archana R. Singh, and tomorrow I'm going to talk to Madam Meera Anand. I'm pursuing her to give me her intro, so that you are mentally prepared that whom you are going to listen to. His or her credentials are going to support and make the presentation more effective. Then use attention grabbers. And we'll be talking in details about that, what are attention grabbers, but use them. Establish audience rapport. In the first few sentences only, you develop a rapport with the audience. You just have to come in the class, go to the blackboard, start writing the formulas. That won't work. Just you have come with the lecture, you give the lecture, you have to develop a rapport by your body language, by coming to their level. We'll be talking in details about all these things. Then create a transition into your main topic. Slowly and slowly, within few seconds, again in first 20 to 25 seconds only, you make from the journal, from the audience, you transit them to your main idea which you have come to present here. What the introducer should do? Few tips on that. Welcome everyone and create an excitement. Create an excitement. They are excited to listen to the presenter. Then give a brief bio or intro, I would say, of the presenter. List the speaker's outstanding qualifications related to his or her topic. The topic on which the person is going to speak, some intro about that also, besides his or her other qualifications and achievements. Generate applause and state the speaker's name. Please give a warm welcome to. Use words like this. If you are having a live audience with you, say after your introduction, say give a warm welcome to so and so person, or you say let us give it up for so and so person. For example, in my presentation, after my intro, I say please, ma'am, start your presentations now, or begin your sessions. Then attention grabbers. It can be very in a number of ways you can get the attention of the people. Look at the figure on the right hand side. Yes, we have all done this much of mathematics. Somebody asked, what is the value of x? And you have been given the base and the height. What is the x is diagonal. So you can calculate. There is a formula for that. But the funny thing is that person just circle this is the x. So where is the x? Find x. He said this is the x. So if in the beginning of my lecture, if the beginning of my presentation, if I come something like that, people are attentive. You just getting the attention of the people. Start with a story maybe. Today, towards the end of my lecture, I have recorded one speech by Obama, an outstanding speech. Some of you might have heard it already. Yes, you can. You will understand the importance of stories in the lecture. Maybe example, anecdotes, and other things. They get the attention of the people. Then startling facts. Sometimes the startling facts can also grab the attention. Or a quotation. For example, I quoted 4 quotations in the beginning of the lecture. Get your attention on that. Then dramatic gestures. Sometimes people just come on the stage without doing anything. their gestures and the thing, they have dramatic gestures, they get the attention of the people. Then rhetoric question, a question which is relevant to the people. Just put a question to the house, and they're thinking about it. Then slowly and slowly you're giving the solution to the people. Then maybe a joke can get the attention. Then reference to a current issue. So when such thing has happened, so such thing happened. So you can elaborate upon that. These are the attention grabbers. People want to listen to what is happening around them. So you can use any of these things to get the attention of the people. In the beginning also, in the midst of the presentations also. For example, here, what is your future? If I just pose a question in the classroom, what is your future? Some people may say, thrive and live the life of my dreams. Just survive and work to live. Somebody say, it all depends on the relatives with whom I'm going to spend my life, or with the government. Kaisi government aayegi, my life will depend on that. Just people start thinking. If you're getting the thinking, if you were able to put the people into thinking mode, you are getting their attention. This is just an example. Then outline your opportunity to talk. From this initial quotes, joke or story or this kind of attention grabbers, you try to grab your point and then start make a transition towards your point of view. Get their attention, state the problem, present the solution which you come with in your presentation, then get them to visualize it. Give them enough time to soak the solution which you are going to give in your presentation. Every presentation is having some solution to a problem. And there is a model for that. We will be talking about that model also in this session. Ask for a commitment. Unless people are not committed, people will say, okay, बहुत अच्छी presentation बोली थी, बहुत अच्छे levels बोले थे, बहुत अच्छी PowerPoint बोली, let us give a clap and go back home. Unless and until some action is resulted or the outcome of your presentation, we cannot say my presentation was effective. It may be a good presentation, but it may not be a effective presentation. Then give them a handout, possibly. If it's possible, give them a handout. We'll be talking about that. How to get the attention of the people. You decide. You, the experience. Always talk, put yourself in the shoes of the listeners, your audience, your target audience. Why are you doing what you are doing? Who do you want to become? What do you want to experience? When do you want to get there? How do you think you can get there? How do you want to feel about it? When you're talking something relevant or make the audience interested in what you're going to say, they will not be able to relate, and they will be not paying attention, and your presentation will not be effective. Now I am taking example here now to elaborate my point here. I'm taking example. State the problem, so they feel that something need to be done. For example, in this case, there is a problem with our food and eating habits. We all understand. Recent studies show a decrease in the nutrition value of the fruit and vegetables over the past 50 years. For the past 50 years, we have realized the amount of nutrients which should be there in the fruits and vegetables, it is decreasing because of various reasons. Because of the practices which we are following in the fields. The total real output of processed food being purchased rose 40% since 1972. In our country also. This is the case in the US, for example. The processed food, the nutrition value further goes down to a large extent. USDA food pyramid recommends 2.5 cups of vegetables and 2 cups of fruit per day. Who is going to take that much? The amount of nutrition which a common man with a common routine of the life, the routine which you are having, physical routine or mental routine which you are having in the day, every day, you require 2.5 cups of vegetables and 2 cups of fruit per day to compensate with the nutrition required by the body consume. Now present the solution now. This is what to do to satisfy the need. The need for the supplement. Dr. Walter Willey, chairman of Department of Nutrition at Harvard School of Public Health, said that a recommendation for dietary supplement should be included as part of the healthy diet. People have that, in their minds, whether I should be having some supplement or no. Now you are quoting somebody who has the authority from Harvard School of Public Health, and then let them visualize. I can see it myself enjoying doing this. Just one packet, just 2 times per day. Instead of having 2 cups of so and so, 2.5 cups of so, just one packet of this thing is able to supplement your nutrition requirements. You are giving them the solution. You have posed the problem, you have given the evidence, and you have given the expert opinion on that. Now you are giving them the solution here. This is normally in every presentation it is required like that. Ask for a commitment then. Unless people are now ready to consume what you want to give them, your job is not over. Your presentation is not effective. Either they will say yes or they will say no. Are you ready to feel great? Ask them. Look great, live well, happy, energetic, alive, and at the same time, lean. Who doesn't want to have that? If you want to make a presentation like this, that this is a package of solution, and make the people believe what you what you are saying to them, your presentation is going to be effective. This is just a example I have taken, keeping in view the heterogeneous group which we are having in the different centers here. I thought that this example will be giving you an effective presentation. Then give them the handouts. Handouts can contain fill in the, so that people, you tell them that after my presentation you will be given a handout and maybe a small quiz kind of thing. They should be able to fill in the, so people are more attentive during the classes. Give them as notes page view or outlines, or give them a handout. Handout is different from the outlines. Handout is giving much more material than outlines, even much more than what you have covered in the let us say 1 hour, 1.5 hours. Normally in our short-term courses in this institute, we give very detailed handouts of whatever we have covered, whatever we are not able to cover. Give them handout beforehand if they are going to use it for the notes. Or normally we prefer it should be given after the presentation is over, after the presentations are over. Why should we give them after the presentations are over? There is a reason behind that. If you give them before, if let us say I give you the copy of the notes of my presentation here, you will be more busy in reading it, and also you will say that let us not pay too much attention to the speaker. We are going to read it anyway. So unless you are going to make use of those notes during your presentation, give them enough notes, so that a serious readers, serious listeners, they can make use of that. Then ethics of being a good speaker. There are certain ethics. All of us as teachers, we are public speakers, and we are speakers in the classroom. What are the ethics for every good speaker? Be prepared. Be accurate and honest. Whatever you are saying, be accurate and be honest. Reveal your sources. Give credit where it is due. Say that this material has been taken from so and so, so and so, so and so, so and so. Be on time. Now keep their attention. Use vocal variety. If you are speaking in the same tone throughout the lecture, a monotony will be, a monotony will occur and people will be off mind. Use little bit of modulations. Walk around. I'm feeling a little handicapped in this session, for example. If there is a live audience and I'm talking to each one of you, you see how I'm moving in the class. Ask question or have the audience fill in kind of fill in the blanks kind of. Then use a fill in blank handouts. Now key to the success Memorize your first and last sentences. Your first sentences and how you are going to sum up conclusions. Try to memorize those things. Practice in mirror, or if you have a friend who has the patience to hear you make a presentation before him or a group of the students, get yourself in the state. This is very important, this get yourself in the state. What do you mean by getting yourself into the state? We are busy into so many things. Let us say I have a presentation to be made at 2:15 today in the afternoon, and I was busy in taking my lunch. There was some visitor in my office. There were certain emails I addressed to before I came to this class. Somebody sent me the list of the participants from some of you, and I have to prepare for my next lecture. So I'm busy into so many things. But at the same time, I am having a lecture at 2:15. Before some time, you leave everything else. Be in that state of presentation. Stop talking to anybody, stop attending to all the things, be in that state of mind yourself. This is very important for all the teachers. At least I would say, if it's permitted within your schedules, try to spend at least half an hour, be in that state of mind that I'm going to make a presentation on this. Then focus on one person in each area of the room. It looks like you are looking at each person. Ma'am was talking about the body language. You divide imaginary division of your class, left, middle, and right, and try to focus on one of the person, little farther from the first benches, and then the middle, then on the right, then on the middle, then on the left, and slowly, unconsciously, this should become a habit. Then each one of them, they must have a feeling that you are addressing to me. Some of the good speakers I have heard, uh, they have this art. You will see in my example, which I have taken, Barack Obama, he is addressing the masses, and each one in the masses have a feeling that he is addressing to me. Then I am putting the main key to any effective presentation is the feedback. Over and over again, I'm saying fill in the blanks, get the response, get the feedback, how they are perceiving, how they are understanding, how they are comprehending, what conclusions are they committing. That's the feedback. You may feel that the feedback is very difficult to get from a very large group. No, it's possible to get a feedback. You have seen in the last 3.5 days now, we are taking feedback after each session from 8 centers located in different parts of the region, and there are technical problems of connectivity. But unless and until we don't get the feedback, my presentations are not going to be effective. Be sure about in your classrooms, wherever you have a presentation, that you take the feedback of the people, how they are perceiving, and if there is a need, reinforce. Now let us talk about preparation. We have talked about various things, and I said that preparation is one of the main key. In preparation, we say that when, who, what, where, why, how. These are the questions we normally ask. Whom we're going to address, why we are going to address him, what I'm going to address them, when I'm going to talk to them, and how I'm going to talk to them, and who are my audience. Preparation is the key message. In every presentation, find out the key message you want to give to the people. There is always, normally, there should be always one key message. Then look for the audience, the time available with you, the resources available with you for making the presentation, check out. Then how do you are going to close your presentation? Then structuring of the presentation. How you want to structure the presentation? Every presentation has again 3 sections. Introduction of few seconds, then information, the main body, then the recap. Introduction should talk about the scope, what you're going to talk about, then the main body, Then recapitulation is also equally important thing. This is how you're going to structure in every presentation. Should be having this structure. Prepare everything you need in advance. If you require something to demonstrate in the class, if you require this microphone or laptop or water or whatever things you require a chart, you require lighting, you require what, prepare everything in advance. And prepare your introduction, prepare your main body, prepare how you're going to recapitulate. And I said your introductory part and your recapitulation part should be memorized. Check on the day that everything works. Do not assume that everything, when I will go, there will be pen there white to mark on the whiteboard, or there will be chalks available for the, or there will be duster there, or there will be power will be always there. You know, you must have a checklist for whatever things you need, and check one day, check on the day, that day everything works, or everything should be working also. Then I said about the practice in front of the people or in the mirror if you don't have the people. Then try to practice in the venue. Believe me or not, believe me when I say so that I see many good speakers. They go to the venue and they rehearse in front of the microphone before they make any presentation. Very, very seasoned, very, very learned people also. That is how they are seasoned, and then that is how they are learned speakers, experts. Go to the venue, and if you get time, at least a part of your presentation before the audience is there, try to say a few words there about that. Then fix things that do not work. And if you will be having time for that, if you go beforehand. For example, before coming to this session, I requested Mr. Param that I will come about 10 minutes early, 15 minutes early, so that we will fix up everything. If anything doesn't work out, we'll fix it up. Then the timings. Gets you used to being in front of an audience. If you will practice, this will help you in, you'll have much more confidence. You will be less nervous, less fearful. Then some tips on the public speaking. Breathe deeply. आपकी सांस फूल रही है. Try to inhale a long breath. I will be giving that exercise here also again, but deep breathing will always help you in public speaking. Take your time. Do not rush. Do not be in a hurry. We are normally in a hurry. We want to vomit out everything which I know. Be compose yourself very well and take your time for explaining them everything. Then test the microphone. Test the levels of the microphone. Am I audible? But sometimes too loudness is more dangerous than being heard. Loud and clear is good, but being too loud can be very, very, will put off the people in the audience. If I speak at a very, very loud manner, the people will be going to the stage of nervous breakdown even. If you are continuously hearing a person in the family or maybe anybody in the classroom at a very high pitch, at a very high volume, this can turn the people off. People like to put the plugs in the ear or something. Then smile. Keep a composure of smile. I am not saying that depending on the topic which you are dealing, if it is your topic is very, very solemn, maintain the solemnness of that. But normally a good smile will be appreciated. You see in this picture also, this lady is giving a very technical kind of presentation, but the smile is getting the attention. Now about giving the presentation itself. Some tips on that. Always remember that only a small portion comes from what you say. What you say, a very small portion is going to go to the people. How you are going to say that is the most important. How you are going to say that. What you say is normally now available in the Google also, anyways, or in the notebooks, or in the journals, anywhere. But how you are going to present it to them, how you are going to make it more effective, that is the art you have to learn. Then your postures and gestures, upright. Ma'am has sufficiently given you demonstration on that. I'm not going to, do not lean. I have seen many people leaning on the desk and holding the mic like this. All through they will hold it like this, or doing all kind of things. Your gestures should be very natural and corroborating to what you are saying. And modulation and tone of voice. We have done a lot of exercises on that. We will be not going in the details of those things now. But when you are making a presentation, make sure that voice modulation and tone of your voice is proper. And do not rush, again I said. Now, warming up. You have composed yourself very well. You are in that state of mind. How you warm up yourself. Warming up is always going to help you. Your beginning, I said, your first few seconds are the most important. You warm up yourself for that. In any race, even in the athletic ground, your first few seconds in the race are the most important, and then the last leg of your race is the most important again. Of course, the whole race is important, but the lead which you're going to take in the first few leaps are going to be the most important thing. And the last finishing, the killing edge, which you are going to display. Similarly, in the presentation also, if you are properly warmed up, then only you will be able to give a good presentation in the first few seconds of the presentation. It helps you to relax. If you are properly warmed up, your state of mind is relaxed. You're already ready already. Then it helps you to be heard, helps you to sound more confident. You know, if you are not warmed up on athletic ground, you can develop a cramp. Just in a few seconds, आपने अभी रेस शुरू नहीं करी, आपकी cramp हो गया. Your whole race is gone. Similarly, in the presentation, if you're not properly warmed up, if you're not in that state of mind, your first few seconds which are the most important thing, will be lost, and you will never get a second opportunity to overcome that. So your warming up is very important. So I have taken up this issue very, very thoroughly. And how you can warm up? Deep breathing can help you in that. And exercises like, when you breathe in, count 5. Breathe out, count 5. Then breathe in for 6, count 6. And breathe out, count 6. And then up to 10. Say, when you're inhaling, 1, 2, 3, mentally. You don't have to say 1, 2, 3, mentally. This will help you to relax. And if you want to chant any mantra and anything of that sort, or anything like that, that will help you. A little bit of pranayam kind of thing here. Deep breathing is going to warm you up. Then, before you come to the class, whatever viruses which are with you, say it outside the class. Let us say, वो पहले क्या क्या आ जाइए. So that in the classroom you are not going to say that. That will be loosening your vocal cords and will be helping you in warming up. Before you come to class, do a lot of exercise with your tongue, with your teeth, all your vocal cords, with your breathing. These are the things which are going to help you in speaking out in your presentation. And this is an exercise to your throat, because certain voices certain sounds have to come from the throat also. There is a scientific reason why we say in between our talks also, because our throat gets tired, we want to give it a rest, or we want to warm it up again. Then do some tongue twisters, really get to the articulate the words, get faster and faster. Ma'am has talked about that in articulation. Tongue twisters are also helping you in making the in warming up you for the presentations. Then yawn. Not during the presentation, but before. Stretch yourself fully. Breathe in with a deep breath with a yawn, and then these things are the really warming up thing which can help you. I'm just sharing some tips with you which can make your presentations very, very effective. Try to practice them. You will find the change happening in your presentations. Otherwise, you will yawn in between. Then tongue twisters. We have talked about this. Just some of them. Unique New York. One of the hints I can give you about the tongue twisters is this is an exercise of your tongue, your all vocal cords to articulate or to speak out the words on which you are fumbling. One of the techniques is, as ma'am was saying, read slowly. Another important thing is try to understand the meaning of that. When you are speaking out a tongue twister slowly, try to understand the meaning, and then you will be able to say it faster. This is how you're going to say in the presentation also. You say unique New York. Unique, you understand the meaning of unique, you know the city New York. Okay. Now when you understand the unique New York, it's easy for you. We have done that on that day. I give you a few seconds to say a few times. Understand the meaning. See, she sells seashells by the seashore. The shells that she sells are seashells, I am sure. You understand the meaning? Now you say, see, she sells seashells by the seashore. The shells that she sells are seashells, I am sure. You know, these tongue twisters are warming up. Give Papa a cup of proper coffee in a copper coffee cup. Understand the meaning and you will be able to say it faster. Give Papa a cup of proper coffee in a copper coffee cup. Peter Piper picked a peck of picked peppers. This one is little tricky. The big bug bit the little beetle, but the little beetle bit the big bug back. You understand the meaning? What has happened in the situation? And then these are the tongue twisters which help you in warming up also. The tongue twister. And as I was saying, there is a complete websites nowadays available where you can pick up some of this. Important things with each one of them. The good points about the PowerPoint is that they are portable. You can carry them anywhere. They look very professional. You can add graphics, which you may not be able to add in the whiteboards on the blackboards. It's very clear. Your handwriting is not a hindrance, but people are able to read. So you can use appropriate font and size. Then can use for the handouts. One of the important use of the PowerPoints is you can save them in a in any format, and then give them the people as the reading material also, if it is very, very elaborate. The bad points about the PowerPoint are, it depends on technology. On the day of the presentation, your technology may not work, or it may not be, the format on which you are prepared may be different than the format which you are going to get there in on the site. For example, yesterday we were talking about something, and that PDF file was not opening. Isn't it so, Paramji? PDF file was not opening. So there can be some problems in the technology. Lack of audience contact. Can't add to it. I have come with this PowerPoint. Now it is, I can add to it, but I will have to go to the different mode again. But normally it is, people find it very hard to add spontaneously. Sometimes you have a tendency to overcrowd your slides. If you understand the bad points, you can overcome them largely. You can overcome these points. Certain PowerPoint tips. There are so many tips about the PowerPoint. I am going to share some of them here and in my subsequent slides also, because this is a tool which is intensively being used by many people in the conferences, seminars, in the regular classrooms, and your students are also using them. Look at the audience, not at the slides. When I am talking to you, I am not looking at the slides all the time. I am talking to you. Do not overcrowd your slides. Pay attention to color and layout. What should be the color of my font? What should be the color of my background? Pay attention to that. We'll be having some examples here. Print out the slides. Why? Because sometimes the technology may fail. Then if you have printed slides, you can refer to them and come for the, because you are structuring and making yourself ready for the presentation, making use of the slides, and the slides don't work, then you have a print of the slides. Then test beforehand. This is the most important thing. Test beforehand. Then effective PowerPoint presentation, font size and colors, spellings and grammar should be thoroughly checked. Background, design and contrast. This is the example of, depending on your presentation topic, you will choose a background. A overcrowded background is not very good. The colors should be contrasting, so people are able to see from distance also. Text and graphics, what to say. These are the basically guidelines. You may use this kind of fonts, bold typeface wherever possible. Heading should be no less than 32 point or larger. Normally we say in a level classroom of about 50 to 60 students, 32 point, and the text should be no less than 28 point or larger if possible. Bold is better than standard text. You see the contrast here. Bold is written in bold, standard is written in standard. So you can read it more clearly than this standard word. The heading I have written in 32, the text I have written in 28. So you can easily make it out. Bold face is better. Then Vardhana, Tohma, Arial or Times New Romans. Normally I have been using Times New Romans in my most of the presentations. Avoid italics. Wherever possible, avoid italics because they jumble up. If possible, underscore you can use. Enclosing in quotation marks or bolding is preferred. Or you can use a different color to highlight a certain thing. For example, in my slides, I normally highlight with a yellow color or some other color to make a particular point, get your attention to a particular point. So these are the colors, text and backgrounds. Should be of high contrast. If it is a white background, you can use dark navy blue. If the background is dark, the text should be very light, as in this case. If the background is light, the text should be very dark. So you can easily see in the example also here colors which you use for the PowerPoints. If you remember on the first day, ma'am was using certain colors. I was trying to restrict her that do not use gray as far as possible. Gray and red are normally not very, very visible in all the slides. So avoid using certain colors. which you feel that the students will not be able to see very clearly. Then put good combination for text and backgrounds. These are some of the backgrounds and the color of the text which you can use. With black, light, off white you can use with the white background, black and white, dark red and white, then green ke sath white, yellow and violet, dark blue and white, yellow and dark blue. For example, in my slides, I am using light blue and white and little tinge to the white for the headings sometimes. And I said spellings should be very accurate. Use the spell checker. Sometimes you will need to refer to dictionary. Nowadays, free dictionaries are available on the internet, or most of the dictionaries are also supplying you the CD. So you can always find the exact meaning in what context you're using a word. For example, you want to use the word lose weight or lost weight. What do you want to use? Add a particular context. Loose chain or lost chain. So it's a good idea to refer to, even if the meaning is very clear. Sometimes the spellings of the the pronunciation of both lose and lose is same, but the context in which you'll be using is different. So which lose you're going to use, lose weight or lose weight, what you're going to use, where you're going to use, dictionary will give you the spellings for that. Be sure that you use the exact spellings. Then use of graphics, high contrast, having good clarity. Black and white drawings are preferred over the gray scale graphics. If you are using the graphics, black and white lines are better than the gray scale graphics. Then text on map or figure should adhere to large print guidelines. यदि आप कोई भी फिगर या मैप के ऊपर टेक्स्ट लगा रहे हैं, it should adhere to the large print guidelines. वो 28 या no less than 20 size font should be used and bold fonts. Then clip art can be useful, but photos look more professional. With every software nowadays, we are having a clip art, and on the website also on Google, you will get the, if you go to the images, and then you get a lot of clip art. But the live pictures or the photographs look more professional in your. You get a, for example, in this one, this is a photo. This is not a clip art. Clip art also available. This looks more professional. As I said, background, too busy a background, and this is a bad example of choosing a background. And the text material is not easily read by anybody. The background should be simple, not graphical, and should usually be in one color. Gray should be avoided in either text or background on the PowerPoint presentation. This I am just cautioning you. This is how if you use the gray, you can see the visibility, how you are able to see. In contrast to the other slide which I have used here. So you avoid using the gray and the. Then the animation scheme, how you are going to animate each slide or each point. Fly from the left. For example, in this very case, fly from the left. Avoid using the fly from the right or fly from the top. Use fly in from the left or peek from the left. This one is peeking from the left because your eyes are going to read from left to right. So try to use the animation scheme like that only. And wipe right. You can do the, if you want to use the right, you can use the wipe right. Then appear. The best normally I find is let it appear from the bottom. So that by the time it is coming there, you are already catching it. People are already putting their eyes on that and it is appearing to you. Appear. Except for appear, animation features should always present text beginning on the left as a normal reading style. Our normal reading style is left to right, and or maybe from bottom if you want to make it appear. Then animation schemes, flying characters or spiral design elements should be avoided unless they are used to denote directionality of the movement of any element. जो moving एक animation हम दिखाते हैं बहुत सारी, they only distract the minds of the people. Unless you want to show the direction by your animation, do not make the animation, the things move too much on the slide. They only distract the people. How to turn a cycle, for example, in this particular thing, in a spiral, you may show like this, or you can actually show the movement. Otherwise, do not show the movement. Keep it simple. Think of a person in the back of the room. Ask the person in the back of the room that is visible to him or her. No more than 3 different blocks of information. Normally, I've seen many people, they overcrowd the particular slide. On the left hand block there's something else, on the right hand block there's something else, नीचे कुछ और है, बाएं कुछ और है. Now I take the center. Now I want your attention on here. No more than 3 blocks normally, if possible. If technical slides are there, you may have to use little more block. But normally there also, in a particular slide, no more than 3 blocks of information, or no more than total of 7 individual lines of information in a slide. Just a thumb rule. It can be 5, it can be sometimes 8, but normally I say do not include, this does not include heading or title. So 7 plus 1 heading, or normally 6 or 7, preferably 3, 4 or 5. Then flip charts. Normally we use flip charts or whiteboards also. I have give some hints on PowerPoint. I will be giving you more hints on the PowerPoint a little later. But let us go to the flip charts and whiteboards, which we use intensively in our classroom situations. The good points about the flip charts and the whiteboards are they are low tech. You don't require very high technology. You can easily carry a flip chart, roll and go, and you can easily get. Normally, you get the whiteboards or the blackboards everywhere. Easy to add to. Whatever material you have put there, you can keep on adding. You can keep on just rub it and then keep on adding. In the flip chart also, pen is with you. You can keep on adding the material which you want to add. More contact with the audience. It is more. Normally in the slides we are more paying attention with the your people are more busy with the reading the slide. For example, in the beginning of this session itself, somebody has requested me to put 30 seconds on each slide, because your attention is toward the slides. What I am saying, how I am going to say these things, your attention gets divided. But in the flip charts and the whiteboards, people go along with you. Then more interactive. It can be more interactive. The bad points in flip charts and whiteboards are can only use once. Whiteboard you can use again and again, but flip chart you can use only once. Can't add graphics. It's very hard to add graphics. Let us say if I want to add this kind of graphic there in a whiteboard, I'll take half the class time to add one of them only. Then can be very hard to read, depending on your handwriting, depending on the lighting conditions in the classroom. Many times I see in the classrooms, the whiteboards or the flip charts are not visible at all the places in the classroom. Hard to see. So if you know the bad points, you can overcome them. If you are aware about them, try to overcome them. This is the mistake normally we do when we use the whiteboards on flip. मैं black board के ऊपर कुछ लिख रहा हूँ, उसके सामने ही खड़ा हूँ. I am not allowing my student to watch the whiteboard. Do not hide the flip chart or the whiteboard. When you are writing, normally I suggest that divide the whiteboard into 3 imaginary columns, or you can actually draw 3 lines. Right on the left hand side column, divide them. Right hand side of the column can be for the comments from the people. Use first 2 columns for your own self. The first column, then the second, go to the second column, so that people have enough time to note down the things from the first column. Divide the whole board. There can be a complete lecture on how to make use of the whiteboard effectively. But then these I have found that this is very effective. And size of the letters to be used in the whiteboard on the flip card should be visible to the last person. But be sure that your body is not coming in the way of the vision of the people who are going to see that. Draw lines if needed. I said about that. Pay attention to colors. Draw lines के ऊपर मैं एक बात कहना चाहता हूँ. I have seen, when I was a new teacher myself, I used to start horizontally, and I used my one line used to go either on the top and or in the bottom. I and then there was one professor in our institute whose blackboard handwriting and his whiteboard handwriting and blackboard writing skills were excellent. I went to him and I said, "Sir, give me some tips." He said that the first tip he gave me was draw lines, divide the board into 3 lines, and also horizontal lines. Not in the classroom, but while I'm practicing, I'm drawing horizontal lines, and then I'm writing on those horizontal lines. Slowly, my strokes became clearer, and I became a habitual of that. Otherwise, by practice, you will be able to write horizontally in a straight lines. Otherwise, your whiteboard writing or your flip chart writing can be very bad. Pay attention to the colors which you use on the whiteboard or in the flip charts. Call ahead to check on facilities. Check it out. Don't assume that there will be pens, there will be chalk, there will be duster, there will be flip charts, there will be light enough. Stick to a few key points. Do not write everything you are saying on the blackboard. Just key points out of your presentation should come on the whiteboard on the flip chart. Then preparing the contents. 3 A's are very important. How to prepare the contents of your presentation. Analyze your audience. First A stands for your audience. Define what action you want them to take. What learning outcome you expect, that action. Then arrange your argument to move them. You have seen that example of food supplement. Your audience, what action you want, and the argument you want to give. Analyze your audience. What are their names, titles, backgrounds? Try to know them. Reasoning for attending. Why are you here? What are their big concerns? What are their objectives, fears, hot buttons, attitudes? किनकी बातों के ऊपर sensitivity है उनकी? You should know about that. And then you may touch those points accordingly. What are their perceptions of you and your institute? What are their questions likely to be? Try to have a view on that. What can question they can ask me if you want to understand their audience? What is personally at stake for them? For example, in the classroom, normally they say that stake is the passing examination. If they will not attend the class, they will not understand and they may fail. Or just attendance is must. 75% attendance is must. That is their concern. Or the deeper meaning, actual meaning is they understand the concepts and the principles which you are teaching them in the classroom. How much detail do they need? If you know the audience, find out how much detail they up to what depth you have to go to. Then define that second A is action. What action do you want the audience to take after the learning outcomes? What action they should take? Define in terms of the audience. What will they feel, believe, and do after hearing you? For example, after hearing this talk, I'm expecting that your presentation skills will be better. You will be able to make better PowerPoints. Then arrange your argument. The third A was for argument. Shake hands with the audience as far as possible. Not if the audience is very large, not possible, but a sample of them, a few of them. Get to the point immediately. Present your theme. Tell them what you want to tell them. Then in the feedback, try to know whether they have learned what you came to tell them. Develop your agenda point by point. Summarize and recommend. Summarize your this thing and recommend that I have talked about this, and you can recommend certain thing to them. For example, in this presentation, I'm recommending you to go to the Google and do this thing and that thing. I'm recommending certain thing also for you to carry on as a follow-up. Then the visual aids in your presentation, they should not be the star, and they are not stars of the show. Normally we say that I will create this kind of video there, I will know this thing and that thing that will impress the people. You are the real star. They are only complementing your presentation. Visual aids are very, very effective tool and should be used, but do not make them star. You as a presenter are the star. Then design concepts, some important aspects to design of your slides. Big, simple, clear. These three principles you remember. Should be big enough, should be simple, very, very clear. We have talked about some of these things. Use the floor test. One day before or on the day of the presentation, you go to the floor, go to the classroom, go to the farthest bench and see for yourself whether you can read. Big enough, simple, as simple as possible. No more than 6 to 7 lines, no more than 7 words per line. Clear, should be very clear. If you are using any kind of graphic, anything should be very, very clear. I gave you this hints already. Contrast. Avoid overuse of red, shadows, animation, and transitions. Beware of busy backgrounds. बहुत ज़्यादा busy backgrounds होंगी. I showed you example. Can be very, very distracting. About the clarity, clip art should add and complement the content. Ditto on sound clips. Sometimes we add sound clips. They should be properly checked and should supplement what you want to say. Use a different background only to emphasize one slide. Normally throughout the slides you use one slide, one background. But if you want to highlight certain things, for example, in that example came, my background in that example was white. But for 1 or 2 slides, it's okay. But if every slide has a different background color, that is very, very confusing to the people. It's not a very good idea. Then visual aid should be on the speaker's left. Make it a principle. I'm using some kind of a video here. It should come on the left hand side of my this thing. Any kind of visual aid should be on the left hand side of the piece. Why so? Because on the right hand side, normally you are writing from left to right anyways. How to write a presentation? I told you I will give you one model here. This model is on a WHPI model. WHPI model. We will talk about this model. You keep this model in mind when you are making any presentation. This will help you out. Here W stands for why, H stands for how, and P stands for okay, wait. आ जाएगी अभी. Yes, आगे. आ गया? The first W stands for why, then H stands for how, and PI stands for prove it. In every presentation, you should be internally know why I am making this presentation, and then you should answer the question how I am going to present it, and then you should prove it in your presentation. Simple. Graham John this gave a very beautiful formula, WHPI. And there are, further details about that. Write the presentation quickly. Don't keep on waiting कि मैं सब कुछ material इकट्ठा लेके आ जाऊँगा. quickly पहले first draft should be written very quickly. Then you can keep on elaborating and making changes in that. Accessible to the audience, easy to remember, Why, how, prove it can be very easily. Start with your message first. Your presentation must have a key message. Leave the audience absolutely on doubt what you want to say. Sometimes, you know, you have a 60 minutes. You keep on saying about something, but the key message is not conveyed, and people are, you know, saying, "वो कहना क्या चाहते थे?" Be very clear about the key message. The key message should be given in first 15 seconds in the introduction itself. What you want, what you have come to say it in 15 seconds. Then you can develop on it later on. Okay. Uh, your key message should contain the main action or the change in behavior, the action you are expecting from the audience, reference to the audience, reference to the example that you are going to elaborate. Every example you are going to give should be corroborating with the key message which you have identified. As you can see, this message say who, what, why, when. Who, it is making is maybe for the marketing managers. What they will do after making use of this message, why should they use this, and when they in next 30 minutes you will start using it. For example, in this particular presentation, I'm expecting that next time when you go to the class, you will start making changes in your presentation styles. The why component, why should I do that? Why should I think that? Why should that be the case? Answer these questions and you're applying the why component. The research shows that audiences that have to commit the least mental effort or the ones that are most likely going to be accepted uh, out of the material they are given. I mean, if your audience is convinced really that whatever you're going to say is related to me, going to change my lifestyle, they will be doing that action. Follow your own logic for conveying to that. And how? After talking about the W and H, now the how W part, come to the how part. How you want to present? This is least important part of your audience. Your key message, your why component in your presentation is the most important because that is going to inspire people to take actions. How they will take action will depend individually anyways. You are just suggesting them certain thing. Normally we give a lot of emphasis in our presentation on how component. But I say normally we should give least emphasis on the how component. That they will find out anyway once they are inspired to do certain things. Your inspiration is the most important thing in the presentation. Then you prove it. You prove it by the evidences that whatever I'm saying has a meaning. Whatever style I'm going to say, this actually works. Prove it is the most important part of your presentation. With your personal examples, case studies, certain statistics, by all these evidences, you can prove your point. Spend a lot of time in planning this, but how you're going to prove your point. Okay, now I'm going to last parts of my presentations here. Just certain tips for your recapitulation and certain new tips also here. Check for grammar and spelling errors. Practice your presentation. Have a plan B ready. I have planned my presentation to take place in this fashion. This is not working out. Audience is not like that. Technology is not helping me out. Light नहीं है वहाँ पर. पसीना आ गया लोगों को. ये हो गया. What is my B plan? Can I go outdoor? Can I now have a session in the open yard? Can I do without my slides? Can I do without my microphone? Plan B ready should be there. Write down your speech. Spend time on the presentation room before your presentation. I said about that. Do not leave everything to the last minute. Practice again and again. Preferably, if you are having no audience or the mirror, practice with a video camera. If you are able to do that, that is excellent thing. Make at least few beginning of the presentation on the video, record it and play it back to yourself. You'll come to know your body language, your everything, your voice level, your modulation, and everything. Know the needs of your audience and match the contents accordingly. Okay, dress appropriately. We have talked some of them. Be solemn if the topic is very serious. Look pleasant, enthusiastic, confident, proud, but not arrogant. There's difference between proud and arrogance. You look very proud, whatever you're going to share with them, but you're not arrogant. Remain calm. We have talked some of them. I'm just going through the slides. Since we have covered some of these points, I'm just going through the slides. Do not over dazzle your audience. Sometimes we create such a great drama, उसके बाहर निकालना मुश्किल हो जाता है audience से. So over dazzling is good to get the attention, but over dazzling, over indulgence in everything in the communication is a bad thing, including in the. Uh, do not torture your audience. Also. We sometimes torture your audience by putting lengthy documents and reading it out to them. This slide is a little important. Again, I said three parts: introduction, body, and conclusion. Do not read from the notes. Notes are only for reference point to structure your talk. This is the sequence: speak, listen, respond, adjust, and adapt. In good communication, speak, listen, respond, adjust, and then adapt. Pauses are very important. Ma'am has talked about that. Do not race. Wherever possible, add humor. There's difference between humor and stare. Do not stare, but add humor to your presentation. There is a rule called 10, 20, 30 rules, which talks about 10 slides, no longer than 20 minutes, and 30 font size. Some rules are also available. You can follow some. That is really very helpful. Be entertaining and informative. 15 words summary. Summarize. We have talked 15 words, like last 15 words to summarize what you have going to say. There is another rule called 20-20 rule. 20 slides, 20 seconds. We have talked about the speeches, about the stories. Do not plan your gestures. It should come naturally. Do not plan कि मैं उस मौके के ऊपर ऐसे हाथ करूंगा, उस मौके के ऊपर मैं आंखों को ऐसे करूंगा, ऐसे करूंगा. It should come very naturally. As the points will come, naturally it should come your gestures. But you can rehearse about them in the practice sessions. You can also use a phrase like "that's a good idea." When the people ask you the questions, uh, you can say "that's a good idea" or "that's really a good question." That will help you buying some time to compose your answer. Or I am glad that you asked me this question. Breathe in, not breathe out. When you feel nervous, breathe in deeply. Do not apologize too much. Sometimes you apologize too much, too much apology. You're late and you just keep on apologizing for 10 minutes. Just apologize that due to certain reasons I am late and be done with it. But if there is some genuine thing has happened, just apologize once. And do not, many find this thing and that thing. This is too much of apologies. Yes, we do not apologize too much. Do apology if you are wrong, but unnecessarily apologies will not be granted to you. Put
Ganga Technical College अनाउंस किया जाता है गंगा टेक्निकल कॉलेज में जितनी भी लड़कियां हैं सभी अभी के अभी यहाँ पे आके अपना अनुप्रदर्शन करें वरना उनके सर्टिफिकेट रद्द कर दीजिए
हेलो नी मैं तेरे नगरारी फसाई तेरे से बंद हो गया यार लगता
बंद हो गया जी कनेक्शन लॉग आउट हो गया फिर दोबारा से रीलोड किया फिर दोबारा तो बाकी सारे खाई जाते जरा बंदा आना चाहिए वो ही नहीं आ
ये बाबा फ्रीज वाले
तो आ गया सीधा हुआ चल आई थिंक yes can we go to the slide now should I tell you slide number 103 escape दबा के ना 103 पे आ जाओ सीधा 103 आ जाओ बहुत ही साइड है escape दबा के let in the meantime Mr. Param मेरी बात जा रही है उधर in the meantime Mr. Param is going to adjust the slides let me come to this very important slide in presentation skills this rule is the golden rule I would say keep in mind always please note it down if you want to note it down mentally or in the notebooks never argue with a member of the audience arguing in any communication is not acceptable especially so in the case of a presentation never argue with any audience if there is a discussion is okay ये आपने लगाया था अभी चल पड़ी थी तो आई थी तो 103 थी नहीं ये जो चल रहा है हाँ आपने दिखाई थी अभी हाँ हाँ 103 का था yes if somebody is there who when your discussions are getting into audience you should know how to tackle an argument try to remain silent and you can always tell that person very politely and courteously that we can discuss about this issue maybe after the presentations are over postponing it give your point of view and let him reflect back on your point if you will argue he's not listening to you Okay, neither you are listening to him or her. So in the argument, remaining silent is very important, and reflecting back and try to find out a time when that issue can be talked about. But again, many times, if you give enough time, the argument will be over by itself. Instead, look at the questionnaire. Who's asked the question? Remain neutral and attentive. Listen to the whole question again and pause before you respond. वो जो आर्गुमेंट है हीट है उसको खत्म करने के लिए थोड़ा पास दे दीजिए. The heat will go. Then address the question, then move to your eyes to the others. After if you will keep addressing the person again and again, he will keep on arguing. After you have replied him question, then you can switch over your eyes to the other people. That will be helpful. I talked about the recap. Finally, my dear friends, enjoy yourself. The audience will be on your side. Want to hear what you have to say. If you are enjoying your presentations, they will be on your side. Technical knowledge is not enough. One must transcend techniques so that the art becomes artless. Growing out of unconscious. This is said by a very famous Suzuki has said that this is the art. Making a presentation is the art. To go beyond all the techniques and transcend that, let the art become artless. And then making the simple complicated is commonplace, but making the complicated simple, awesomely simple, that is creativity. A very, very difficult topic, you can simplify it. No topic, I normally believe in this, no topic is hard or easy. It is how you present it makes it hard and simple, hard or simple. So Charles said this thing that making the topics, making your presentations simple and awesomely simple, that is your creativity. Simplicity is the ultimate of sophistication. VC said that simplicity is the ultimate of sophistication. I mean, sometimes we have a tendency that if my presentations are going to be very, very simple, people will take me lightly. No, it is not. On the other hand, if you are able to make the thing simple, you are more sophisticated. Make sure you have finished speaking before the audience has finished listening to you. This is very important. We must know the audience. Understand that my centers, people are already having this kind of body language. They are already tired. So I must close my talks here. And we have now where to go next is that you must in your own presentations everywhere you mix. So go for it, my dear friends. Thank you so much. God be with you always. Is there any questions? आगे परम आगे ट्रांसलेट करो आगे चलते जाओ go for it. Thank you. Next one. Any questions? These are the references which I have used for this thing, my presentation and the other websites. I know we are now running little off time, shooting up the time little than the schedule, but then my lecture will be incomplete without that video which I wanted to show you on as a sample or a model, I would like to say, on the presentation skills. And since we started the session a little late, so we are having a reason to sit about 10 minutes, to give me 10 more minutes. This is really a wonderful address, a wonderful presentation. It is imbibing all the things which I wanted to say to you in this. परम जी आपने यदि इसमें करना है तो फिर आपने करना है चेंजेस वगैरह वो ओबामा वाला लेक्चर आपने चेंज करना है okay. I am going to play the now video. Please watch the video very carefully. Note down besides the content how Mr. Obama is making different things, how he's getting the feedback, how the audience is responding to whatever he's trying to say. He's addressing the masses here.
be setbacks and false starts. There will be setbacks and false starts. There are many who won't agree with every decision or policy I make as president.
सर प्लीज कंफर्म मी कि आपको आवाज क्लियर आ रही है. मनीष सर फ्रॉम जेसीडी सिरसा. सर कंफर्म कर दें कि ऑडियो क्लियर है जो वीडियो चला रहा हूँ.
सर अभी थोड़ी ट्रबल है प्लीज. साउंड इज वेरी लेस. आप दोबारा प्ले करें एक बार.
We know the government can't solve every problem.
Noise
But I will always be honest with you about the challenges we face. I will listen to you, especially when we disagree. And above all, I will ask you to join in the work of remaking this nation the only way it's been done in America for 221 years.
टेरिबल कम करो.
Brick by brick, calloused hand.
हाँ जी सर क्लियर है.
सर टेरिबल ज्यादा है उसमें.
ट्रैवल ज्यादा है.
हाँ.
And by calloused hand. What began 21 months ago in the depths of winter cannot end on this autumn night. This
हम ठीक है.
थोड़ी सी बेटर है बट नहीं एग्जैक्टली नहीं है सर.
सर एक
victory alone is not the change we seek. It is only the chance for us to make that change.
नहीं सर अब तो बिल्कुल ही खराब होगी. पहले वाली ठीक थी इससे तो.
थोड़ी सी वेट करो तो हम क्लियर कर. सर वीडियो सर ऑडियो
होगी नहीं क्लियर क्योंकि अपने स्पीकर को हो जाएगी. तो अगर हम सीडी सब मिलती है।
सीडी सीडी हम आपको दे देंगे मटेरियल की दे
There will be setbacks and false starts. There are many who won't agree with every decision or policy I make as president. And we know the government can't solve every problem. But I will always be honest with you about the challenges we face. I will listen to you, especially when we disagree.
सर ਹੁਣ क्लियर है? सर माइक थोड़ा ऑफ है।
हाँ सर बेटर है, हुन बेटर है, काफी ठीक है।
There will be setbacks and false starts. There are many who won't agree with every decision or policy I make as president. And we know the government can't solve every problem. But I will always be honest with you about the challenges we face. I will listen to you, especially when we disagree. And above all, I will ask you to join in the work of remaking this nation the only way it's been done in America for 221 years. Block by block, brick by brick, calloused hand by calloused hand. What began 21 months ago in the depths of winter cannot end on this autumn night. This victory alone is not the change we seek. It is only the chance for us to make that change. And that cannot happen if we go back to the way things were. It can't happen without you, without a new spirit of service, a new spirit of sacrifice. So let us summon a new spirit of patriotism, of responsibility, where each of us resolves to pitch in and work harder and look after not only ourselves but each other. Let us remember that if this financial crisis taught us anything, it's that we cannot have a thriving Wall Street while Main Street suffers. In this country, we rise or fall as one nation, as one people. Let's resist the temptation to fall back on the same partisanship and pettiness and immaturity that has poisoned our politics for so long. Let's remember that it was a man from this state who first carried the banner of the Republican Party in the White House, a party founded on the values of self-reliance and individual liberty and national unity. Those are values that we all share. And while the Democratic Party has won a great victory tonight, we do so with a measure of humility and determination to heal the divides that have held back our progress. As Lincoln said to a nation far more divided than ours, we are not enemies, but friends. Though passion may have strained, it must not break our bonds of affection. And to those Americans whose support I have yet to earn, I may not have won your vote tonight, but I hear your voices. I need your help, and I will be your president too. And all those watching tonight from beyond our shores, from parliaments and palaces, to those who are huddled around radios in the forgotten corners of the world, our stories are singular, but our destiny is shared. And a new dawn of American leadership is at hand. To those who would tear the world down, we will defeat you. To those who seek peace and security, we support you. And to all those who have wondered if America's beacon still burns as bright, tonight we proved once more that the true strength of our nation comes not from the might of our arms or the scale of our wealth, but from the enduring power of our ideals, democracy, liberty,
Param,
and unyielding hope.
परमजीत जी।
हाँ जी सर, हाँ जी बोलो सर। नहीं सर आवाज आ रही है।
हाँ जी मनीष जी बोलो उनको।
That's the true genius of America. That America can change. Our union can be perfected. What we've already achieved gives us hope for what we can and must achieve tomorrow. This election had many firsts and many stories and will be told for generations, but one that's on my mind tonight is about a woman who cast her ballot in Atlanta. She is a lot like the millions of others who stood in line to make their voice heard in this election, except for one thing. Ann Nixon Cooper is 106 years old. She was born just a generation past slavery, a time when there were no cars on the road or planes in the sky, when someone like her couldn't vote for two reasons, because she was a woman and because of the color of her skin. And tonight, I think about all that she's seen throughout her century in America, the heartache and the hope, the struggle and the progress, the times we were told that we can't, and the people who pressed on with that American creed, yes, we can. At a time when women's voices were silenced and their hopes dismissed, she lived to see them stand up and speak out and reach for the ballot. Yes, we can. When there was despair in the Dust Bowl and depression across the land, she saw a nation conquer fear itself with a new deal, new jobs, a new sense of common purpose. Yes, we can. When the bombs fell on our harbor and tyranny threatened the world, she was there to witness a generation rise to greatness and a democracy was saved. Yes, we can. She was there for the buses in Montgomery, the hope in Birmingham, a bridge in Selma, and a preacher from Atlanta who told the people that we shall overcome. Yes, we can. A man touched down on the moon. A wall came down in Berlin.
पता नहीं कितनी आवाज बंद हो गई।
स्पीच भी थोड़ा मतलब अभी आपसे पूछ रही क्या बोल रहे हैं।
एक बार he is trying to motivate the he was first speech after his election run. He was motivating people that we can do many things together.
Okay.
Our world was connected by our own science and imagination. And this year, in this election, she touched her finger to a screen and cast her vote. Because after 106 years in America, through the best of times and the darkest of hours, she knows how America can change. Yes, we can. America, we have come so far. We have seen so much, but there's so much more to do. So tonight, let us ask ourselves, if our children should live to see the next century, if my daughters should be so lucky to live as long as Ann Nixon Cooper, what change will they see? What progress will we have made? This is our chance to answer that call. This is our moment. This is our time to put our people back to work and open doors of opportunity for our kids, to restore prosperity and promote the cause of peace, to reclaim the American dream and reaffirm that fundamental truth that out of many we are one, that while we breathe, we hope, and where we are met with cynicism and doubt and those who tell us that we can't, we will respond with that timeless creed that sums up the spirit of a people. Yes, we can. Thank you. God bless you. And may God bless the United States of America.
Yes, we can do many things. Farag ji, my phone is 2 minute बस करके खत्म कर दें अपन।
कोई और भी?
नहीं कोई एक्शन नहीं। Just closing the remarks and then. Well, friends, I am not really very sure whether you were able to get the audio very clear or no. But then, anyways, you can see this slide, this speech by Obama on the YouTube also. बठिंडा आपको आवाज आ रही थी एट सेंटर बठिंडा गाना
No, video is clear, but audio not clear. Audio was not clear.
Okay. Anyways, let us call it a day now. We'll close the session here. I just wanted to demonstrate it to you. The body language, the gesture, the posture, the pauses, the response, the feedback, concern for the audience, how he's carrying the audience with him. All these things were displayed in the single speech of about 8 minutes. And he was addressing the nation, and not only his nation, beyond the boundaries of USA. He talked about the palaces and the parliaments of the different countries. He gave message to all of them. So you can understand how the effective speech can be. You can see the same speech on the YouTube also. If you put the best of the speeches by Barack Obama, you will be able to see this speech.
Hello, yes, sir.
My dear friends, now we close this day. We'll meet at 9:30 tomorrow. And Madam Meera Anand, who is a very good speaker, is going to talk about two very important topics on group discussion and interview techniques. And in the afternoon, our director is going to be there. And I request the coordinators, please, if you want to bring somebody as a chief guest at your respective center, maybe your director, maybe somebody from the industry, anybody, you can bring somebody for the closing session. I will announce tomorrow morning about the whole program. But tomorrow 9:30 we're going to meet. I have received the registration form from all the centers. Thank you so much. Except one, NGF College of Engineering Technology, Palwal in Haryana. They have not sent me the list of the participants, but rest of them, I have received the list of participants. Thank you so much, and we meet tomorrow morning. Have a great day.